Wicked's possession as well. What will Alliance finish off this game with? Will those two men on your screen even be targeted when it comes to these final two bans? Both Nyph and KaSing have had their fair share of brilliant moments over these last couple of weeks.
And, you know, in terms of Alliance, they also have so many different champions to consider. You do have that Anivia in the mid lane. You do have Orianna, if Froggen wants to go that route. Tabzz has played Kog'Maw in the past, so there's a lot of these priority champions still available. And with Lucian and Evelyn and Elise still up, it also means for Shook and Impaler, they could go that route. Impaler has been sort of trending towards Jarvan in the last few weeks, so we need to see if the other champions are up. Does he still want to run Jarvan, or is he going to go for the S-tier junglers, as many people refer to them?
Final ban, unsurprisingly here though, was Kassadin from the red side. That's left Twisted Fate up and available, and we've already seen Alliance picking up Twisted Fate as a first pick in previous games, so we'll see if that continues to ring true here today. Froggen's certainly going to be comfortable on the Card Master, and we'll see if he can bring the A-level game that we've seen from him before.
Yeah, and you know, with the first pick Twisted Fate, Alliance have the option to counter-pick some of the other lanes. They know what they're going to get themselves into. A lot of the assassins are not necessarily as powerful in this mid lane, so if Froggen wants to run the likes of an exhaust, he can run that route. What I like from Alliance is just their diversity, depending on what champions they're unlocking. They can go Twitch as well as Nami. I mean, Nyph has been playing such a great Nami in the past. And if this is a Lulu, it could be Lulu support, or it could be Lulu top lane. It's another option that it's multifaceted. You can put it in either of those positions.
Well, one thing we know for sure for the Super Hot crew, bottom lane is already locked in here, taking Lucian and Braum, and currently hovering over Olaf. Now, Impaler last week, we did see him bring in something a little bit new to the table, ran with that jungle Rengar. I'm sure you guys are all aware now. Mimer did mention it earlier on. Rengar actually is globally banned along with Shen and Nidalee here this week, so there's no Rengar on the cards. Will he try something a little bit different? Olaf, I seem to remember an Olaf coming out from Impaler in the spring split, if my mind serves me correctly.
Yes, it was fairly early on when he was still trying to find a substitute for Vi being banned out. It was something that happened so frequently that Impaler was looking for other champions. And unfortunately, we're getting excited because it does look like he's cycled through to a few other champions for the time being. We'll get those picks back on your screen in a moment. But I think the interesting story for me so far is Alliance's side. Where is that Lulu going to go? Is that a support Lulu? Is that a top lane Lulu? It's something that we need to keep a very close eye on as the picks and bans plays out.
Well, I can tell you at least that we have Elise and Shyvana locked in for the Super Hot crew on the red side. Alliance now down to their final two picks, and you're going to get to look at our lovely mugs while we guide you through the rest of those bans and the picks. Alliance currently have locked in Zyra and will take Caitlyn as well for Tabzz as the AD carry. So Lulu top lane, Elise in jungle, Twisted Fate in the middle lane, and a duo of Caitlyn and Zyra. There we go. Bans and picks back on your screen. So we know the Alliance lineup. What are the Super Hot crew now going to finish with? Looking for a mid lane here for Selfie, up against Froggen's Twisted Fate. I
love everything about Alliance's team composition. They have got Engage in the form of Destiny to Gold card. If you land a Sonic Wave with Lulu's Speed Boost, you can have Lee Sin kicks going in. So there is sort of direct engage with Twisted Fate as well as indirect engage with the Lee Sin Lulu combination. All of that is backed up by the fact that Zyra can count as your disengage. If Braum, Elise, and Shyvana jump into you, Stranglethorns instantly negates that threat, and it allows Alliance to reposition and pick the targets that they want to take down. Also with Tabzz going Caitlyn, last week he was the first Caitlyn that rushed the Infinity Edge into static Shiv and did a very, very good job at controlling the pace of the game. So I like Alliance's team comp. I think they have a lot of tools to do a multitude of things. They can play pick, they can play disengage, they can play split push. And it just depends on how they want to actually, or how the laning phase goes before how they execute the rest of their team comp.
Ryze for the mid lane for Selfie. Not something that we've been seeing really at all, to be honest, here in Europe, that Ryze coming in. And I'm interested to see it from Selfie's side of things because he's had a hit and miss time on some of these newer champions that he's brought in.
Very quickly, he has played Ryze in the past and his positioning was not particularly strong in team fights. His laning phase was okay, and we need to see if he's learned and he's upgraded his Ryze talents, especially against a Zyra who's going to be knocking him up and a Lulu who's going to be slowing him down.
Well, guys, after our featured matchup, which mid lane do you think will perform best in this match? Tweet hashtag Froggen or hashtag Selfie, and you can even tweet a selfie if you want to at LOL Esports, and we'll see what you think. It is, of course, going to be Twisted Fate versus Ryze. Interesting matchup, this one. The Super Hot crew coming into this game as underdogs, as everyone in the league right now is when they come into a match against Alliance.
Yeah, they really are. And you know, Super Hot crew's composition is very much about creating a death ball and just throwing themselves at the team. Elise, Braum, as well as Ryze just want to be running at you with Shyvana flanking from the sidelines. Assuming Nyph plays to the same level that we've seen him play in the last 2 weeks, those Zyra Stranglethorns can be absolutely game-changing. The one thing I do like from Super Hot crew's team is it does also scale very well. Ryze is going to get better and better. Shyvana is going to get better and better. And I think they can handle the split push that Alliance potentially can put down, but we need to see how intelligently they play the map, because they have set a pretty high standard in previous matches.
We'll have to see if they can stay in touch with the game long enough to get to those later stages as well. We're going to find out, though, guys, because we are going into game for our final match of the day. It's Alliance taking on the Super Hot crew, and what a cracker this one may just be if the Super Hot crew can battle there. I don't want to say inner demons, because that might be a little bit too strong, but push away the fact that they are a new team there, bringing in KaSing as a support player to replace WeWillFailer, and we'll see how that one all works out for them.
Yeah, KaSing has had a very good showing, and I think this is going to be the first Braum game that we've seen him on. So another new champion adding to this new player on the LCS stage's performance. I'm a particularly big fan of his Nami play, and I think he's had a very good showing on Nami in the past, but a very early pickup for this Braum. The possibility to punish with Lucian and Braum is very, very high.
30 seconds until
also, the possibility not to punish if you don't time things right could be a problem for them. Either way, it's going to be a tough game, I think, against the... Oh, Mimer going a little bit deep from this one. Actually going to be getting caught out. The slow coming down. Will have his burnout going. Will they be able to get him for another Q? Selfie will come from that middle lane. And I'll tell you what, Mimer really running that one to the deepest levels there. Going in for the ward, almost getting himself caught out. Did have a flash available, of course, in case he needed to get away. But this bottom lane, as I was talking about, Zyra Caitlyn, a lane that, if we think back to the second half of Season 3, really the summer split in there, where the poke of a Zyra Caitlyn lane would be sometimes unbearable to deal with.
Yeah, and it's going to be very difficult. We've already seen Braum struggling against Threshers in the past. The range and the poke that Thresh can offer in the early stages can really, really punish Braum. And I just had flashbacks of the last game they played against Fnatic. Yarrow has played Braum in the past, so we'll have to see how well he can perform in this particular matchup. I think he's going to need some jungle assistance from Impaler, especially because MrRalleZ and Braum have the ability to be pushed around and punished by Caitlyn's range. We've seen it in the LCS, we've seen it played, and if memory serves, it was Alliance versus SK. For the time being, it's MrRalleZ that's got the early poke advantage onto Nyph.
Nice mid lane then. Both players actually playing fairly aggressive himself. We've seen time and time again, he doesn't mess around. He feels like he can do some aggression. He will do, as we are going to see a good flash away from the Q of Elise in there. But again, as we always say, it leaves the mid laner very, very vulnerable. Lucian can just come back around after doing the top side of his jungle and have another go.
Yeah, and especially against a champion like Ryze, who needs so much time to scale up, needs so many items before he can really run into the middle of a team fight. One of the things that I really liked about Selfie's Ryze play when we seen it in the last split was his laning phase was pretty solid. He last hit pretty effectively. He was able to hold his own. But the issue came in terms of his positioning and his flanking power in those mid to late game team fights. So that's really where we need to see if Selfie's leveled up his performance.
Well, we are going to be finding out, because Lucian's coming straight back to the middle, and Selfie's going to go down as a first blood. Impaler, though, doing a good job. Can he actually get in onto Shut and find a second kill? He's going under the tower. Doesn't he have the damage there from the red buff? Not quite enough. Impaler has to back away. It's a 1-for-1 in mid.
1-for-1, but Shook is the man that gets the bonus gold for that first blood. So trading objectives, Impaler realizing that there was going to be a gank attempt on Selfie in place for the counter gank play. Coming out even, so decent start for both of these teams, and of course because the junglers secure the kills, we'll have to see who can make use of that gold in future ganks more effectively.
So top lane then. Something that we've not really looked too much on, apart from that hairy start for Mimer where he almost went down, let's say. He did have his flash available, so I don't want to say it was a clear-cut almost death there for him at the start. Struggling a little bit against Wickd in the top lane, although keeping up on CS as well, but being bullied somewhat by Wicked's Lulu on this top side of the map.
Yeah, you really expect the matchup to go in Wicked's favor, thanks to the glitter launch, thanks to the ranged auto attacks. So Mimer's doing a pretty good job, I would say very good job, of keeping up in this head-to-head lane matchup. I want to see where Wickd itemizes. We've seen top lane Nunus like SOAS go for the triple Doran's ring into the likes of a Morella Nomicon. But against an Elise and a Ryze and even a Shyvana who has, you know, decent magic damage once she's in dragon form, I think Athene's and Holy Grail might not be out of the question for Wickd. But like I said, it's still early days, 30 CS, he hasn't backed yet to purchase anything.
Froggen actually moving down towards the death push. Not level 6 yet, so no Destiny to be called in. And in fact, they were both spotted there thanks to that pink ward that was placed earlier by the Super Hot crew. And who would have thought it? Selfie now after going down there for the first blood. No flash still available to him. He's sitting back and allowing his tower and those minions to soak up a little bit of damage and not get caught out of position by Shook again.
Yeah, and he's going to be under quite a lot of pressure until he hits level 6. The wave clear of Froggen on Twisted Fate will always be higher than Ryze until Ryze gets access to his ultimate. But you don't ideally want to wave clear every single one of those lanes. That desperate power from Ryze is very, very crucial in starting fights. And you know, the mobility that it gives you will help him potentially dodge some of the skill shots that Alliance will put down. So, teleport to the top lane for Wickd. He's picked himself up that Fiendish Codex and mirrored by Mimer. So both top laners making it somewhat clear a dragon is not on the cards yet, and mid lane is going to have some fun. Let's see, Cocoon or Sonic Wave, whichever one connects first, probably going to be where this gank comes from, as the yellow card timed out, gold card rather.
And Impaler may use that as an opportunity to get in. Definitely doesn't have a massive cooldown on it. There is the gold card coming in on towards Selfie. He may go down before Impaler can do anything. He will fall. It's Froggen that gets that kill. And just a little bit slow off the mark was Impaler to get in there and help defend. That's the power of Lucian and the Twist of Fate really coming together there for all that damage.
It looked all too easy. I mean, Selfie was extended in the lane, and Impaler appeared to be backing away. You see Tabzz being jumped on. KaSing and MrRalleZ doing a decent job, but I do think that Impaler just reacting a little slowly or thinking the gank wasn't going to be there. So Alliance with a good repeat before Selfie's flash is available and an easy kill.
So that leaves it 2-1 then. Almost 1,000 gold the lead for Alliance in these very early stages of the game. We know the Super Hot crew in that mid lane in particular needing a bit of time to get things going. Selfie does have his tier picked up now, so he's going to start stacking that one up. We'll see at what point he can actually get that one done and start moving on towards those other items. Up until now, actually staying very level with Froggen, considering the fact that he's died twice in this mid lane.
Yeah, to be fair, the ganks have also slowed Froggen's farming down. You know, he was trying to set up a gold card before Shook got there, missed a couple of creeps, and then obviously had to go in for the kill. So decent CSing. By no means on track for any sort of record here today, considering Froggen broke the CS record last week. But I think, you know, the most impressive story is the fact that Mimer's doing very well in CS against Wickd. The Negatron Cloak's going to be helping out. And I also think that MrRalleZ and KaSing have done a good job in the 2v2 matchup, with Selfie roaming down to the bottom. No ultimate available. They've gone in on Nyph.
They're going to go for Nyph, and I think he's dead. It's going to be one more auto attack needed, and came actually from Selfie over on the side there. Just with that roam down, Selfie not really having to do anything in that fight, apart from maybe that one last auto attack to get himself a kill. Nicely done either way by the bottom lane of the Super Hot crew to set that up.
Very, very good play by Selfie. Just walks in, actually secured the kill with that rune prison on his W, which is about 110 damage.
Not much more than his auto attack either way.
No, definitely not. But, you know, a good initiation from KaSing. He did burn his flash and his ignite for that. So Shook should be aware of the lack of Summoner Spell in the bottom half of the map, but the disengaged power from that Glacial Fissure can definitely turn things around if KaSing gets jumped on. So first item secured for MrRalleZ. He's actually gone for the BF sword. And the only reason I highlight that is Tabzz on Caitlyn has beaten an Infinity Edge Lucian previously by going the Infinity Edge build himself. And we'll see if MrRalleZ can perform better with a potential or an assumed same build.
Yeah, I mean, whether he's just going to say, okay, get a BF sold now, put some dominance down in this bottom lane and move on, but that also slows down his overall build. We'll see about that. Most AD carries, that's for sure, have been saying, you know, it is Blade of the Ruin King, Ghostblade, the way to go at this point in 4.10 for Lucian. MrRalleZ may have done some own little research, crunching of numbers and what have you, to prove against that one. Either way, Tabzz has also now picked up a BF sword. A lot more common, I think, at this stage for that Caitlyn to be going Infinity Edge first.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I would dare say that in terms of the European ADCs, MrRalleZ is top 3, if not top 2. So if anybody is going to go for a sort of slightly different Lucian build in terms of maybe the eye edge and be successful with it, he's probably one of the few that can pull it off. But I do want to see how the rest of his itemization goes. He could always, you know, surprise everybody and build something different. Nevertheless, Dragon is respawned, memory serves, or just started off here for SUPA crew. No challenge from Alliance until Destiny. SUPA crew are well timed, but he has a teleport as well.
That was a great flash from KaSing. Dragon is going to be going over towards the SUPA crew, but MrRalleZ focus. Shook following him through after the kick there as well. TP was actually cancelled in the top lane for Mimer, and now the SUPA crew, one by one, going to be picked to pieces. So double killing the end for Shook. 3 kills overall. SUPA crew did manage to pick up the Dragon in that though.
Absolutely decimated by Alliance. Oh, Impaler, he's got caught.
Oh, God, little repel, but is he going to be able to get away from the doubt about that one? 3-0-2 for him. 3-1-3 Froggen, which for me is a real scary thing. We've seen how deadly Froggen's Twisted Fate can be, even if you don't let him get rolling on it, really. So something that the SUPA crew need to be real careful about in these coming moments, and I think especially for that bottom lane, who now have no tower behind them to fall back on.
Yeah, very importantly for the SUPA crew, because they've given up such a large amount of gold so early, it also means if they get put into a split push defense situation, the Lulu and the Twisted Fate can really punish anyone that's holding a tower. If Lulu's pushing one lane and Froggen decides to move up there with Destiny, that's going to be a dead target. Sorcerer's Shoes with Distortion Boots and Morellonomicon already completed. Froggen's got a lot of cooldown reduction, he's got a lot of mobility, and he's going to be looking to play the map and impact those side lanes as quickly and as frequently as possible.
Oh, and now KaSing down in this bottom lane needs to be a little bit careful. Actually, he's going to throw his ulti in, but Shook is there. That's the big danger of this one. He gets knocked up and surely goes down. It's Tabzz that gets that one, and they're not done just yet. Shook tries to get in. Froggen had come down. Selfie actually disturbing him somewhat inside of that bottom river area. In the end, it's just a 1-for-0, but KaSing being caught completely out there.
They're just destroyed. Even though KaSing had initiated the fight, the support wasn't there from the rest of the team. And Alliance just secure themselves another easy kill. Destiny blown from Froggen, so at least there's that small respite from the rest of the crew, but I think they're going to dive Selfie.
Oh, there's the Q, and he gets the kick onto him as well, and that is typical Shook, ladies and gents. They take the damage onto the support. The minions actually being pushed back from the turret. It doesn't matter. Alliance get the kill onto Selfie and secure themselves their second turret of the game. They are looking flawless.
Alliance can just do the same in the top lane. The tower is getting lower and lower. Mimer's going to get caught out. Mimer's actually started this fight, and here comes Froggen.
Yeah, wild growth, and there is his Dragon away, but Froggen going to go underneath the turret. There's the stun. The wild card's coming through. He's actually taking too much damage here, and that may just be enough now to force Alliance to back off, or at least for now, because Nyph and Shook are both coming up, and this is so typical of Alliance. Get the kill, take the tower, move on to the next lane.
Yeah, the reason Wickd didn't come in there is he didn't have enough mana, and he'd already blown the wild growth. So unfortunate for Froggen not to get another kill out of that roam, but just such confident play. We're 15 minutes into the game. Alliance has got 6 kills further. They've extended the gold lead to around 4,000, and they show no signs of allowing SUPA crew time to get their items or time for the champions to scale. So it's going to become a map game. I do believe that Alliance have got the power to split push with Lulu, the power to split push with Froggen on Twisted Fate. And if anybody from SUPA crew tries to challenge, I think Shook, maybe even Nyph, may consider continuing those dives.
Talk about Selfie here for a moment. He's had 4 deaths so far with this Ryze. Catalyst now in there on top of that teal from earlier that's stacking up, and we see that the blue buff is a bit of a challenge for him still. Does finally take that one down, but Froggen with the Morellonomicon, those Sorcerer's Shoes with the distortion on them as well, which you talked about earlier on, especially when you're running Ghost and Teleport. You get that extra speed boost on your Ghost, get the speed boost after flashing as well. So perfect in terms of synergy, and a great early pickup, which you don't see a lot of mid laners going for, those early pickups on the enchantments of the boots.
No, but it is when you're playing that style of game. You know, there is mobility on the side of Super Hot Crew, dashes and movement spells. So the more frequently Froggen can get those summoners up, the easier it's going to be to run people down. And you've seen how mobile Alliance have been. I think two separate ganks in the bottom lane, a tower dive in the mid lane, a roam to the top lane, all of that and a dragon fight before 15 minutes. It is just confident, it is decisive, and it is unrelenting. And, you know, Mimer's just got dragon form to try and clear this wave, but does manage to avoid the knock-up, and that means he should survive. But now, Super Hot Crew trying to enclose around. Look for a Glacial Fissure from KaSing. That may be enough to get Nyph.
Going on towards Tabzz here. I don't think he's surviving this one either. Tries his best, uses Summon a Heal, but decided against the use of Flash. May have opened up some damage onto this middle turret though. We have two men there. Wickd even is pushing the bottom lane out with those, not super minis just yet, with the cannon minion in as well. So he's going to have a lot of damage onto that bottom lane, and look what Froggen and Shook have done in terms of damage on the mid. There's a big wave there still with Wickd, and up until now there's no challenge.
This is exactly what we said Alliance could do. Because of the fact that they are ahead and they've got champions that can do well in these skirmishes, they opened up the map. Even before the dive onto Tabzz in top lane, there was the makings of a split push in all three lanes. So Alliance get a lot of damage in the middle and bottom inner turrets. They've set themselves up for Dragon, but realize they don't have their AD carry, nor was their support available. So look at how Alliance have peeled around the Dragon Pit. They've regrouped as a 5-man, and Stranglethorns is not available. So that is a very, very key ability for Alliance in these team fights. And I think it could be a limiting factor if they were to think about engaging.
Well, we have a pause.
Is for the Super Hot Crew, I think they need to find a way to engage. Oh, they've got Dragon already.
They've got the Dragon, which is great for the Super Hot Crew. Wickd and the rest of Alliance seem to be all fixed up. Actually, Destiny going to be popped there. Not sure that there's a follow-through here, though, for Alliance. Well, there will be. It's just Froggen going to the mid lane to get himself a bit of farm. That's always how you love to use a Destiny. Not sure that they're going to be able to do too much to this middle tower. It was low from earlier on, of course, and actually the safety really being pulled there by MrRalleZ, using his Cologne to get rid of those minions and making sure that what's left of that inner turret stays intact.
Yeah, so Alliance continue to stay grouped up and roam towards this top tower. Even though they've lost Dragon, they should be able to secure the top outer turret. The rest of Super Hot Crew have continued to stay grouped up towards the middle lane. I don't think they should be going to try to defend this top tower. I take that back because Alliance didn't push it at all. Instead, Alliance have backed away, and that is, of course, thanks to Wickd going bottom lane and Froggen backing off. So, a little bit of a split play. Alliance do lose that global objective of Dragon, but they still maintain a gold lead, and it's just a matter of coming back from that pause.
Oh, they're going to be baited into this one, though. Mimer's going to dive in. We see Shook coming around the side. They may need to be quicker about this one, though. Impaler knocked up. Nyph is going to be going low. Well, Flash, but I think Mimer's got this one. Nyph actually backing away from the damage, but Mimer gets the finisher, and now it's Shook that's going to be chased down. Actually does land his Q and safeguards away. Flash use as well. Can he escape from that speed of Mr. Selfie? He's not going to be able to. There is the shutdown. In the meantime, though, Wickd is pushing the bottom lane.
So we'll see if Wickd can get himself that tower. 2 for a tower. An inner tower is arguable whether or not it's worthwhile, but the teleport from Mimer comes out to save. A very good play from Super Hot Crew, reacting to the somewhat split decision-making of Alliance. Alliance looked to be pushing the top lane tower before backing away. Then Shook attempts to go for a 3v2 scenario, but because Shook took such a long time to get in position for the fight, it means they come out far behind, and Super Hot Crew are now 1,500 gold down. One swing of the dice, and just like that, Super Hot Crew are back in this game.
See if those dice go their way. That's the whole problem of this one. With a serial gambler in the mid lane in the form of Twisted Fate, we never quite know which way the dice are going to roll.
On the topic of that, I'm actually disappointed Froggen did not go with red card Twisted Fate, considering it is World Cup fever and we do have Striker Lucian in the game. I'm somewhat disappointed. So, Froggen, if and when you watch this, calling you out, bro.
And on that token, we should say good luck to USA and Belgium a little bit later on tonight as well in their quarterfinal. I know that Shox and our entire production team over in LA definitely looking forward to how that one all goes down. I'm sure there's a lot of banter to come through the night. For now, though, this game 8-5 up in kills for Alliance. The goal difference starting to slide somewhat away from them, and with that Dragon not too far away, that's going to be the real interesting part of this game in the minutes to come.
So that pause potentially distracts the flow from Alliance. They were in momentum, they were rolling, they kept building up their aggressive plays. And as we came out of the pause, they lose the Dragon, and they become somewhat disjointed across the map. Because of the fact that Alliance were disjointed, it meant the Super Hot Crew could punish. And part of the reason they were so aggressive is Froggen didn't have his Destiny available. He had used it after the Dragon fight, so Super Hot Crew realized they had a window of opportunity, and they took it. They need to do the same thing. They need to bait out that Destiny, or in this case, go for a move on Wickd.
Yes, Wickd may just be in trouble. Room Prison will use his own wild growth there, but will he get away? Actually, Mimer diving for him there, but Wickd, with the speed boost that you get with Lulu, was able to escape just about without going down. And that could still, however, open up a tower here for the Super Hot Crew. We've got Twisted Fate coming down. Lucian may join the party as well. Not sure the Super Hot Crew have actually got the damage to kill that tower. Twisted Fate, though, popping Destiny. Where's he going to come? He actually uses the bait from Twisted Fate with his Zhonya's. Can he actually get the gold card down? He will. It's onto Selfie, who did a good amount of damage back, but they don't get it. Here's another gold card with the flash. Mimer's going down. Froggen now on a rampage. Can he get even more? Here's the card. It's a gold one again. Shot now moving in. Does get the kick and knocks both of them off. Another gold card. This time will be repelled away from, but that won't save him. Tabzz comes down, and just like that, the Super Hot Crew lose 4 men.
Absolutely perfect fighting from Alliance. They defend the tower, they force Super Hot Crew all the way back, and thanks to the work that Wickd had done earlier in the game, they grab a tower out of the deal as well. I don't think Super Hot Crew should try to make tower plays with a Ryze. He's arguably the worst champion in the entire game to try push towers down because he prioritizes mana over ability power attack damage, and mana does not give you damage stats on towers. Regardless of that fact, Alliance with the Destiny and all of the mobility of Lulu and Twisted Fate just ran them down, got the kills, and got the inner turrets.
And I love the Twisted Bait strategy there, coming in with the Zhonya straight away. Just drawing them in with enough time then for the rest of the team to get around, and probably a horrible feeling for the Super Hot Crew as you feel one member after the other just getting pinned down. But we have Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. No surprise, Alliance are already there with Nyph doing all the work to sweep out what little vision really is there for the Super Hot Crew, and that's not going to be a problem for them to get full control over. The question now is whether the Super Hot Crew are going to risk trying to fight for this one.
Yeah, if the Super Hot Crew are going
the microphone was broken there for a second.
If they are going to risk the fight, there's going to be a lot of pressure on MrRalleZ. He's out farming Tabzz by a solid amount, but that's because of the movement around the map that Alliance and Tabzz have been performing. Super Hot Crew decide not to even contest the Dragon, and just like that, within 5 minutes, Super Hot Crew once again find themselves down in gold. Actually, the largest difference we've seen all game. It does look like Super Hot Crew are trying to surround Alliance, though. They've got themselves grouped up. Multiple pings, so teams are aware. Destiny, that's it. Plan is already aborted. Alliance realize they can push the inner turret. They've got such good positioning, and Super Hot Crew will not get you in time.
And they're off to the side. This is grasping roots territory if I've ever seen it. Strangle Thorns if it's even needed. We're going to see Mimer TPing on the back of them. That's a good 3-man knockup, but will Mimer be tanky enough to get through? Nyph may even end up dying. Flashes in the last second from the Cologne. Wickd caught on the other side, though, and I don't know if Nyph's going to be safe. That's a good summoner heal coming out. Alliance scattering and going with 2 men to the left, 2 to the right. In the end, they get away. Well, they might lose towers for the pleasure.
So it may end up being a trade 1-for-1 as far as towers are concerned. A kill secured onto Wickd, and that's the sort of first fight that we've seen Alliance being very scattered for in terms of the 5v5. A very strong teleport engage from Mimer on that back line of Alliance really caused a big disruption to Europe's #1 team, but they still have a sizable lead. There is a lot of work that Super Hot Crew need to do to get done, in order to close that lead up and potentially regain control. But 2 towers, that's definitely a good start.
Really good start indeed, taking 2 inners down. And look at this, Froggen is marching up that bottom lane once again. There's no one there just yet to actually stop him. And with those cards in there to do the damage, Froggen actually is going to back away. Playing it safe here, didn't want to end up getting caught out by the Super Hot crew. Had already sent... actually, did they send... Yeah, okay, they sent Mimer back actually to cover that one, so no real threat there in the end for the Super Hot crew. You see a tiny bit of damage actually done to the tower by Froggen and the minions that he put up there. That gives now Alliance time to clear out the wards that the Super Hot crew had put around the Baron area.
Yeah, it's something that Alliance did last week, which is very impressive to me. They completely understood when they had vision control of Baron, and they managed to just sneak a Baron completely uncontested, you know, surprising everybody in the game and everybody watching. And seeing how the game is continuing to progress and we're getting later and later, Alliance have got the ability to pull Super Hot crew to an area of the map. Whether that's Wickd split pushing and they want to try shut him down, or whether that's Froggen, you know, playing that, you know, very big bait card. And the moment Super Hot crew respond to that potential move, Alliance can then just move in and try to secure that Baron. Look at the vision of that area of the map. It is heavily in favor of Alliance. Super Hot crew slowly pushing themselves out and trying to get more wards down.
And more farm there in the bottom lane, not just for Mimer, but for Tabzz as well. If you look at the AD carries, Infinity Edge for both of them, Phantom Dancer for Lucian, and the Static Shiv for Tabzz. We talked about the build on Lucian earlier on, the fact that most AD carries these days are fancying that Blade of the Ruin King into Ghost Blade build, but definitely a different route to the norm, or at least the building norm that we've been seeing. Still early stages, I suppose we could say, of the changes that we've seen to the AD carries and their items. So interested to see how that one works out for him. 0-1-1, not played a massive role so far, although we have to say the couple of little fights we've had, MrRalleZ has found himself in another lane pushing or trying to push down turrets.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting to see that MrRalleZ is basically saying he's not ready to fight against Alliance. He wants to get those items, he wants to scale late. The thing is, Selfie is also continuing to scale. That Rod of Ages has been slowly ticking away, and it is at max. Obviously, Seraph's Embrace is already upgraded. He's got the makings of that Void Staff sitting there. So, you know, we need to see how quickly it can work out. And Malignex, that's a great tweet, buddy.
Can't play red card TF because all he pulls is golds.
I can't really disagree with him. He's, you know, every team fight, every time Froggen has jumped onto a target, I don't think he's missed a gold card this game. I will say.
That you've just cursed him, though.
Yeah, well.
Wait for the next Destiny.
Yeah. All props to Impaler. Impaler's dodged a few. That's not a matter of Froggen missing them. So we'll keep our eyes on him. Got that death cap completed a few minutes ago, so his wave clear is even higher, his burst damage is even higher. Most likely going to go Void Staff next, and it's just going to play even more into Alliance's potential of split push into pick. I mean, look, once again, Wickd got teleport available. He's gone to a side lane. Lulu, I would dare say Lulu's becoming more and more of a split push champion. We're seeing her do it in many games in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
See how effective that is for Wickd. I mean, he got that inner turret basically all alone. Wasn't finished off by him, but he'd done all the groundwork in actually getting that one started. However, we do have Dragon in just over a minute's time, and as per usual, that will be a hot point of the map. Selfie now starting to build up. You can see the waves that those waves are actually going down now with his Xera's finish with that Rod of Ages. Got a blasting one now added on top as well. So feeling a lot more confident, I think, is Selfie after getting off to a bit of a lackluster start, which you can expect from a champion that is getting stronger towards the late game, but is squishy and very immobile early on.
Yeah, and it's also not entirely fair to call Selfie out because Alliance focused him really heavily. I mean, Shook ganked him multiple times, which again is part of the strategy against Ryze. He is a late scaling champion, so delay his early game means it takes him longer to hit that power spike. With that Void Staff completed, Selfie does have a fair amount of you know, mana, of HP, of ability power, and he does have a decent amount of damage, but he needs to start getting tankier. Because if he gets caught by, you know, Gold Card, by Glitter Lance, by Roots, and Tabzz can get a bunch of auto attacks down, with the Lost Whisper and an Infinity Edge, that is going to be a lot of very quick damage that will burn through Selfie's HP.
Think of it as well. A frozen heart, a nice item for Ryze any day of the week, but even maybe more now as Impaler gonna get caught out with a lot of damage. TPs are coming down. Both Wickd and Mimer gonna join in at the same place, but Wickd caught out very early. Wild growth at the last second. He has to flash away. They've caught up Froggen. Is Selfie gonna be able to blow him up though? Not quite enough damage just yet, but Mimer will keep chasing. Nice slows coming out of Wickd, and they stand off 5 versus 5 outside of the Dragon Pit again.
Alliance need to be so careful. Their big CC's down, and that's KaSing caught.
Caught KaSing, and the damage is there. It's Nyph against the finisher. Shook coming in. It is the Super Hot Crew that get Dragon, but there is Froggen off to the side. He's actually coming at the wrong place, but is he going to flash over? No, because he doesn't have a flash. But there's the kill onto Selfie. Tabzz will get that one, and it's a 2 for nothing. Super Hot Crew again losing members, but getting the Dragon.
Even more scary there is MrRalleZ flashes over the Wraith Camp wall, so afraid that he was going to get run down. The range of Caitlyn shows so true in that previous fight. Tabzz was never really in danger. After the successful win, Alliance have opened up Baron. There is pings here from the Super Hot Crew, but they don't have vision. They are going to consider going in. Do they have vision in the pit? There is vision in the pit, and it looks like Impaler wants to try steal.
Oh, he's gone up too early there, though.
Yeah.
Repel coming too early out of him, and he's going to have to be careful. There's a Q landing from Shook and the death, and surely the Baron. Here comes Mimer from around the side. Alliance able to get that one, and Mimer will simply flash away. Nice little try for him, but not enough in the end, and the first Baron of the game will be secured by Alliance.
Just once again, very confident play. You know, that team fight all started in the river, and double teleports from Mimer and Wickd. You initially thought that Super Crew in such a good position. Wickd took basically every bullet of the culling and was forced to flash over the wall and try to get away as quickly as possible. And thanks to the range and thanks to the poke from Alliance, they just re-engaged and once again cleaned up. I mean, 15-6 in terms of kills, it's very one-sided in fights.
And again, Alliance raking in points for everyone that's got them in fantasy. 4-1-7 for Shook, 4-1-8 for Froggen. Tabzz again coming up big, 3-1-5 for him, although you have to say miles behind in CS, but those kills and the global gold really giving him the advantage, and that turret is going to be going down this time. KaSing and Selfie will be able to just tank that one up and go in, but look at Alliance, they're moving straight up the middle.
Yeah, but look at the split for Alliance. Wickd is again split pushing. He's continually done this the entire match long, and if Super Hot Crew ever commit resources to shutting him down, it just allows Alliance to push the rest of the back. Thanks to the range and the poke of Twisted Fate as well as Caitlyn, it should allow them to siege towers incredibly effectively before you even take into account the Baron and the big gold lead that they've built themselves up.
And this turret's going down, no doubt about that one. Alliance get in there, and means now that the Super Hot Crew are holding on to their base just by those inhibitor turrets. Will Alliance be able to break through them? Twisted Fate gonna be going in towards the Lich Bane soon, and that's when Froggen becomes even more dangerous. Couple of hits on towards those inhibitor turrets, and they are going down quickly. There's a culling use from MrRalleZ. Doesn't even want to entertain the fact that that minion wave can push in for some free auto attacks on the tower.
Yeah, when you're dealing with Caitlyn, it's so difficult to defend against these sieges. You have to engage, but you can't really engage against a Zyra. Oh, ace in the hole, even threading the needle and catching probably the most important target for the Super Hot Crew. Alliance haven't got the most damage on the inhibitor turret, but we'll see in this next wave how brave Tabzz is feeling. He's done such an incredible job here in the summer splits.
Shields are another thing that's going to be played in Alliance's favor here as well. As you see Shook tanking up that turret for a long time as the damage comes in. They also managed to get Mimer down to about half HP. There's the Destiny going to be used. I think it's just to reveal exactly where the Super Hot Crew are. Move through, take away that inhibitor turret. Surely the inhib as well. Actually, Froggen going off to the side. Going to try and pick off Selfie using the Zhonya's early there as well. But Mimer is actually going to dive in. It's a lot of damage towards Wickd, and he gets finished off by MrRalleZ. Can they get any more from this? I think the Super Hot Crew are happy to defend with what they've got there.
Small misplay from Froggen, maybe biting off more than he should have. The Super Hot Crew were able to rally together and stick on the same target, which is why Wickd went down. But the tower was exposed. This means if Alliance continue to play the split push, which they have done very effectively, they should be able to get on an inhibitor on their next few pushes, on their next few attempts. What can Super Hot Crew salvage from this momentary respite? It looks like a red buff steal, and it looks like they can counter push the top and bottom waves just to once again try and get some semblance of control back in the game. And this, I believe, is the first Bloodthirster that we've seen in Europe MrRalleZ building it on Lucian, so he's going to be looking for that overcharge shield. And I'm very interested to see how effective it is over the course of the coming team fights.
He can mitigate a little bit of that burst. If he can get his shield in position quick enough as KaSing here, gonna be forced to flash away very quickly. Actually, they might be able to lock him up. And this is a tanky support who's gonna go down. Tabzz with the ace in the hole. They've locked up Mimer as well with the grasping roots, and he's forced towards the out. Kick back onto Impaler as well. Very quick repel for him, but he's gonna come down on top of them. Will flash off in the end, but this is surely the ending for Alliance.
It definitely is. Without the engage and the support of that Braum for the front line, Super Crew are forced to back away. They lost a lot of summoner spells in that case as well. Flash from Braum is down. Flash from Impaler is down. Unfortunately for Super Crew, just being caught out of position from that very fast team of Alliance costs them. And there's that big red shield for MrRalleZ. As long as he's full HP, Bloodthirster will of course be giving him that stack. Lost 15 seconds if memory serves. I need to keep a very close eye on how effective that actually becomes. It is interesting to note, with that shield active, if he gets it to max, which I believe is 450 HP, the resistances that Braum can offer him from Stand Behind Me do make that shield significantly more effective. The problem is, it's very difficult to maintain that shield or get it built up because you can only stack it from max. Now Froggen, did he use Destiny? He did, and he's going to run away. Make sure he's got full information on the rest of the team.
Where's he going to go? Dragon. Probably a quick teleport in there just to use it in the end as they lock up Impaler. Good damage onto him as he's forced to repel straight up in the air, and almost half of his health gone from that. It looks like Alliance gonna once again loop around the dragon and see if they can set up this fight. Wickd, maybe the first one's coming. Ultimate out of KaSing does nothing, lands onto nobody. Can they get in? The Cologne now coming through. Dragon is at half HP. Wickd being locked up on the top side by Ryze, and there is the Super Hot Crew taking the dragon. Will they force Alliance back away? Alliance themselves seem to have just backed off from this one.
Yeah, without Destiny available to jump in and find the right target, it looks like Alliance are playing a lot safer. Keep in mind, there were always super minions pushing through the middle lane, so the longer Alliance could have delayed the Super Hot Crew, the more potential opportunities there were to push. But I think hesitation and safety on the side of Alliance prevents them going in for that one, and Super Hot Crew get a small win. I mean, Dragon is worth reaching its maximum limit as the average level of champions is getting closer to level 16. Probably is, but I'm not going to try to do math. So, a good pickup for the Super Hot Crew.
You mean you're not going to add them all up and then level out and work it out?
No.
No.
Not after 37 minutes.
Not me either. Mimer here has come out of his base once more and trying to push out this bottom lane. And as I say that, of course, he just hits the B key and will be recalling off to base. And Wickd probably not even going to try and stop him at this point. He's now got that Void Staff in on top of his Death Cap and that Morellonomicon is the word that I am looking for. And we also see Bloodthirster now picked up for Tabzz as well. So Bloodthirster's on both AD carries this game.
I'm doubting myself if we've seen Bloodthirster, but I'm pretty confident because that big glowing red shield is definitely something I think would stand out. We've seen Caitlyn's going Blades of the Rune King. You know, the attack speed synergizes with her headshots passive, and 8% HP per hit also works very effective, especially against targets like Ryze and Shyvana, who build and stack hit points. So Tabzz may be favoring a little more hit points, maybe looking for that shield. You know, it's definitely something I think I'd love to hear his viewpoint on, maybe Deficio's as well after this game, because it's not something we see all too often. And the game is just slowed down because of the power that Shyvana and Ryze have gained as the matchup has progressed. Alliance have played a little safer, and Froggen now being dove. We'll see if he can get away.
I'm not sure about this one. He does have Ghost, does have Flash, but there is a lockup. The burst too much for him. The shutdown comes in from Selfie, being caught out, but he's going to be sacrificed here for the Baron, but it would be a 5v4 if they start, and there's a TP on Mimer.
Yeah, we need to see what Super Hot Crew can put together. That is just Froggen being caught out of position, decides not even to try. Oh, they've landed a cocoon on Nyph.
Oh, and the Cologne going to come through as well. Wild Growth coming down, but is it enough to keep Nyph alive? Flash is going to be using Impaler on top of him. Great kick away from Shook. That may be enough to save their lives, but can they keep hold of Baron now?
Well, without Froggen still being alive, there's a window here where Super Hot Crew can try rush it down. 25 seconds before Destiny and a potential re-engage comes out. MrRalleZ is going to have this shield fully stacked up. But remember, there is no Fissure from Braum, so that heavy engage is not there. They're going to try catch Tabzz.
And they actually took more damage for trying to get onto Tabzz. than they really gain from that one. Baron started off again, but the Super Hot Crew slowly being chipped away. There is Wickd moving in as well. They have to get away from this one. Mimer goes in, tries to flash out, but is picked off in the end. They did take down Nyph. Froggen going to come back on, but Tabzz going to be destroying them. He's on a double kill. Surely will be a triple for him here as well. As Destiny is popped, they've got vision. Froggen not in range though to actually follow through. He's going to get towards the mid lane though, and Alliance going to get Baron again.
Very, very good re-engage from the from Alliance rather, onto the Super Hot Crew. Just using that range. And the focus from Selfie onto Nyph is really what cost him. He was putting damage down onto the support on the sidelines and just disjointed. This is one of the scenarios we talk about with the Super Hot Crew where it feels like the impatience is what costs them. It does look like Alliance, they're going to get another inhibitor turret.
They're going to get that one forced.
This might be
the
game.
Support and the jungler away. They've got super minis coming up. Alliance turn and run towards the Nexus turrets. Spawn's not coming in for 10 seconds here for Mimer. One Nexus turret already down. KaSing going to try his best as he gets kicked away. They don't care about him. They want the game right here. Finally, they do lock him up. There's the burst damage. He goes down to Froggen, and now they can focus on the Nexus and win the game. Alliance continue their run at the top of the European LCS.
Fantastic victory. Slight misplays in the mid game. Definitely stuff that Alliance can, take back and learn from. I do want to say Super Hot Crew's comp scaled fairly well. They got to a point where they could contest and they could pick team fights, but they just fell too far behind too early. And unfortunately, that just made Alliance run away with it.
Big win again for Alliance. This Super Week, if they're able to take all 4 victories, could really separate them from the rest of the table. The Super Hot Crew, though, put up a valiant effort. We saw that around the mid-game area where they brought the goal right back to about 2,000, but just after that, we saw it jump again to, I think, about 6,000. There were a couple of kills in there. Dragon went down. Alliance were able to capitalize with a couple of turrets as well on the way through. And Alliance just showing that even if you feel like you may be coming back into a game against them, they'll all of a sudden pull some trigger that no other team seems to know where it's hidden right now and really gain that lead back.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only other team that I can compare the switch onness in terms of, pushing objectives and finding ways to create opportunities and win is SK Gaming. Nobody else is able to find those situations. I would dare say today's game's Fnatic showed an inkling that they're onto something, but they need to do it more often. And even in the moments of weakness for Alliance, you never felt like it was really going to push them out of control. They lost one team fight, then all of a sudden find kills and accelerate their lead even further behind, even further ahead. And
some numbers from that one as well. Tabzz, again, quietly deadly. We saw in that fight around Braum, which pretty much turned out to be the last fight of the game there in the end. 7-1-6 he finished on that. Froggen had over 400 CS, finished 5-2-9 as well. And when you've got that Caitlyn just hammering away constantly, you know you're never going to have a good time. I also want to just quickly touch on MrRalleZ once again. Finished 1-2-1. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and the Banshee's Veil in the end. Didn't have much of an impact on that game, sadly.
Didn't have much of an impact, but he also wasn't involved in large portions of the game. A lot of those team fights happened without him.
Yeah.
And I do want to call out again, that is another Caitlyn versus Lucian, where Lucian doesn't go Ghostblade, Blade of the Rune King, and has lost the matchup. If you're going to build the same items at relatively the same pace, Caitlyn's range is always going to give you the advantages in the team fights, in those duels. You can get the damage out, and you can play safer. And it is something that we need to keep an eye on to see whether or not a Lucian can win with the same items as Caitlyn.